can you kind of like take us through the approach of how you'd use generative AI to build digital twins, and maybe also kind of like while you explain to us about how that approach differs from the conventional methods.
Yeah, so we have found these, one of the great use cases for this is content generation and content curation. And some of the content is actually the digital twin configuration. So I can ask, and what we've been able to do with what we call our generator, so the twin generator, XMPRO generator, what we've been able to do is use that to run almost like a requirements gathering session. So it can run those workshops for you by asking users certain questions. So we have prompts that we've built into large language model, and different. There's a number of providers that all work in a very similar way, but those agents or those transformers or GPTs or whatever you want to call them, handles a lot of the requirements gathering and then curating and collecting that for me to generate the requirements specification. Once I have that, and also what systems are available in the business, and what system do I need, what analytic do I need to run in order to fulfill this requirement, then for that analytic, what data do I need? These generator, and it's almost like a wizard. You start with the basic questions around the use case and application. The LLM then curates and puts that into a standard format for us. That goes down to what integration do we need? Are there current libraries? Do we need to? Can we connect to the API documentation and generate what the integration files would be? So I think there are 6 or 7 steps going through all the way to the point where you get to the end and you say generate. Now we know the structure of our file, which is the configuration file for our solution, but likewise, I have seen other digital twin vendors, especially in the digital twin consortium, where they showcase, for example, taking a 2D diagram, hand-drawn 30 years ago with some annotation, putting that into one of these large language models, standard off-the-shelf one, put it in and ask it to generate the Unity file, and then build and say, now that I've got that Unity 2D, please give me a 3D. I want doors, and this is for a hospital, so that they can do contact tracing of infectious diseases. So, that's the use case. But generating the twin and the twin models, the files, the 3D CAD files, all of that being made possible now just with natural language instruction. And likewise for us, we know exactly what the format is of our configuration file. So, that define from an XMPRO perspective what our data streams look like. At the moment, it's not 100% there on generating the UI components. But it's getting much better. So if I look at what it was 3 months ago versus now versus a year ago, it's kind of there's a massive difference in that. So again, the UI components, it's more around, can it generate for me the Unity files or the CAD files or the point cloud. Well, the point cloud's not so much. It'll sometimes take a point cloud and you can do something with that and transform that. But that's how we see the generative twin, how we generate the twin. As that, it is different to putting a generative model like a chatbot inside the process or inside the twin, which I can now interrogate, which we call generative intelligence. So the generative twin is, how do I generate the twin? Which kind of moves into the generative intelligence part around, okay, how can I now interact with that twin?